I think Mr. Vaughan forgot to tell you that I was also a professional netballer. You remember that? The phrase, keeping the edge, acknowledges that we in St. Kitts-Nevis are a step ahead of our counterparts in the sub-region and in the region as a whole in several areas. So where are we? First, in foreign direct investment in the Caribbean, highest per capita income in the Caribbean, first in manufactured exports in the OECS, including Barbados, first country in the OECS to produce a solar energy factory, and we are exporting to other countries. First in the Caribbean to introduce the baler system in solid waste management as the first step towards waste to energy. Highest growth in the Caribbean in 2013, 3.8%. In fact, higher than the USA at 1.9% and the European Union, which showed negative growth. Business Insider article about 3 months ago ranked St. Kitts-Nevis as 14th among the top 50 worldwide destinations to watch based on data from the World Travel and Tourism Council. Only 2 Caribbean countries were on that list, and we were one of them. Our destination is also ranked 4th on a list of the best islands in the world, 2nd on a list of the best Caribbean vacations, and 8th on a list of the top 10 best island for a holiday by Places to See in your lifetime. St. Kitts-Nevis was a finalist in the Caribbean Excellence in Sustainable Tourism Awards 2014 and won the award in the category of Destination Stewardship at the Caribbean Tourism Organization State of the Industry Conference in St. Thomas, United States Virgin Islands. We wish to commend the Minister, the Honorable Richard Skerritt, and all in the Ministry of Tourism and all the other stakeholders who together made it possible for St. Kitts-Nevis to win this prestigious award. A successful debt strategy and debt management has seen a reduction in our debt to GDP ratio from 190% to the current level of about 95%, and projections of it trending even lower to about 80% by the end of this year. St. Kitts-Nevis are ahead of the CARICOM average in CXC results in English and mathematics. Our citizenship by investment program is the envy of the world. Our New Horizon Center is a model in the OECS for rehabilitation of at-risk youth. I can go on. Making the point, we are punching way above our weight. We even beat the US team in a 4x2 relay race in May this year in the World Relay in the Bahamas. So look out, US, we're coming. How about our recent highly successful hosting of the CPL matches, which was seen by over 200 million viewers all over the world? This is the dawning of a new St. Kitts-Nevis. We must all wake up and get on board. It requires bold initiatives to take us to the next level. Despite our many successes, there are several challenges that must be addressed if we are to keep the edge and sustain and energize growth and human capital development. The global financial meltdown forced us to put greater emphasis on stabilizing the economy, and understandably so. Our people, our workers, we all had to make sacrifices during those turbulent times. The way forward, therefore, at this time, when our economy is rebounding, is to prepare our people to take advantage of expanding opportunities in the new St. Kitts-Nevis, while making greater strides in our social and cultural development. I'll therefore leave you with 4 of the areas that are critical to the sustainable and strengthened economic growth and human development, bearing in mind that our people are our greatest asset. And so I'll focus on human development. Education, Reforms have already begun in education to address the new Kitts-Nevis. TVET is designed to produce skilled engineers, mechanics, plumbers, other skilled workers, and is a dire necessity if nationals are to benefit from the increase in construction activities, especially construction of big hotels. Efforts should be made to extend the one-to-one laptop program at least to the grade 6 of the primary school level, while enhancing the use of technology as a teaching and learning tool. And while I'm on technology, let me commend the Ministry of Information Technology, who joined with the Ministry of Community Development to organize sessions in technology for elderly persons and for persons living with disabilities. In the new Kitts-Nevis, no one should be left behind. And so we're really happy to extend the use of the technology to the blind, to the deaf, and to those who are differently abled. Our curriculum should include more of our local history and culture, and greater emphasis on soft skills to enhance attitude and behavior of our youth. I must commend the Minister and the Ministry on the REACH program, which has the effect of increasing the number of students who would access tertiary level education. Again, something which we would need going forward. In the area of health, secondly, I want to encourage the involvement of all our people to be part of the movement towards universal health coverage. As we wage a war against non-communicable diseases that account for about 70% of our deaths, we would want to ensure that our people are covered, have proper coverage, so that they can treat with the diseases and the illnesses with which they suffer. Non-communicable diseases are mainly from lifestyle choices. And so all of us have to participate in the reduction or elimination of these diseases. And so I want to encourage all of us to try and eat a healthy diet and to engage in exercise on a regular basis. It sounds rather simple, but it does work. Health costs are unsustainable, both individually and collectively. It was Ban Ki-moon, the UN Secretary General, who made the observation that if the issue of health coverage is not addressed, more and more people will be plunged into poverty, and this would negatively affect social and economic development of our countries. The launch of the hospital information system at the Joseph N. Farnes General Hospital will bring about a more efficient delivery of health care. We expect to expand the technology to the health centers and other health facilities so that there can be greater efficiency in the delivery of health care throughout the Federation. I want at this point also to commend the Minister of Education, the Honorable Nigel Carty, for working with us in introducing, just August gone here, the Bachelor of Science degree in nursing at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. I understand that 60 nurses have enrolled in it. This is the program that is being done for the first time, and to say that the government is underwriting the cost of this program. Greater health security and expanded services in areas such as oncology, mental health, and the MRI will help to address some of the major challenges that we now face in health. Thirdly, our cultural industries must be promoted as a means of energizing our economic growth. We have an abundance of talent that must be honed and professionalized so that artists can derive greater financial benefits, thus expanding the job market and contributing to our economic growth. With an expected film industry, we must prepare our talented young singers, dancers, musicians, writers, actors, producers to take full advantage of the opportunities that this industry presents. On Tuesday this week, about 2 days ago, I had quite an interesting conversation with two young men who I described as bold, confident, and talented, two young Kittitian men, Nigel Lewis and James Galloway. They have produced a film already, their first film, which they did out of their pocket. It was on bullying. And they're in the process of producing their second film, this time to promote prevention and early detection of breast cancer. They, as far as I'm aware, and I stand to be corrected, are the first nationals to produce a film. And they should be encouraged and highly commended. What also struck me about these two young men was the fact that even though they had come to ask for assistance, they had done a lot of the groundwork and had some of the financial support that they needed. They were not asking for all, and this is highly commendable. As a new Kitts-Nevis is much more diverse, we must embrace cultural diversity if we are to energize growth and human development. We must embrace all who choose to make Kitts-Nevis their home and add to our development. And fourthly, I could not leave without mentioning support for gender balance. You'll recognize that of all our presenters up here today, we've seen a little, a little shift in what is the norm. But looking to the future, we have to ensure that there is greater gender balance. And I'm very serious when I say, when you look at all of what is coming out economically, and I'm sure the governor can bear me out on this, you would note that the involvement of women in a greater way would certainly add to our economic growth and human development. I know there's only the women clapping, Need to see some men clapping. You would note that this would certainly encourage better relationships and be better able to provide and make us better able to provide for our families and communities. Legislatively, we have focused on giving fathers the same rights as mothers and ensuring that the best interests of our children are the #1 priority. We must protect our children. And with that in mind, we set out to ensure that there is equality in terms of fathers and mothers via legislation. So for example, before, what is known as child support came only from the men, even at times when the children resided with them. We have changed that legislatively, and now support can come from the mother or the father. So I notice the men are clapping very hard. The reality is, however, that about 51% of our households are headed by single mothers. And so greater effort must be made to address the income gap between men and women. Women in construction under the PEP program is a step in the right direction. There are more women in poverty than men, as more women occupy the lower end of the income ladder. We should be reminded that invariably, a woman in poverty is a family in poverty. By all accounts and indices, St. Kitts-Nevis is on a path of positive growth. My good friend, the president of the chamber, forgot to mention that Horsford and TDC, two of the leading firms in St. Kitts and Nevis, they returned over $8 million in profit. That's what they reported before taxes. And we want to commend them and all the others who did extremely well here in St. Kitts and Nevis, all the other businesses, that is. Our challenge is to sustain it. Today's dialogue gives all of us an opportunity to iron out the kinks, to point out the stumbling blocks, the hindrances that can retard our progress or reverse our gains, and to come up with bold, innovative suggestions and ideas that can enable us to keep the competitive edge as we journey towards the realization of our vision of becoming the first small island sustainable state. We have full confidence that together we can. Thank you.